Hello, neighbors. We're back. This is Daniel.
This is Katie.
This is Future Neighbor Podcast. So,
Welcome back.
that's right. So, Katie, how was climbing today? I think we have a lot to talk about. Go through our agenda.
Oh my gosh, I sweat so much today.
I know this is the first time I've seen sweat on the back of your t-shirt, and I'm like, hallelujah.
You have something about sweat. It's not an indication necessarily of how hard you work. I just don't sweat as much as like other people.
Yes, but
So let me explain,
okay.
guys. So I was for the first 3 months into my climbing lessons, I was taking this class with the same teacher, and it was this guy, and his teaching style didn't really fit me. He's really aggressive and he tries to ignite the competitive spirit in you. But I'm more like a chilled person. I don't really go there to win over other people, or I just like to take it really easy and just, get my regular exercise. But yeah, he's
He's trying to turn you professional.
yeah,
and
yeah.
you
I
ain't down
think
with that.
Like the way he talks and the way he teaches you kind of reminds you of that mentality.
Yeah.
So I wasn't happy with it, and for some reason, I don't know, he's teaching style really didn't.
He has a Napoleon complex. He's very short, and then in the gym, he's always shouting and marching around, and his voice just resonates throughout the entire building. But he's so tiny, right?
Yeah.
And I guess you just gotta know it. I think you can't even stand that voice. I just remember you when he's speaking, your face it just goes into that oh.
No, I just had I had just had enough. And the problem was every time I just fall on the same spot and I can't move on while all the other people can. So I ask what can I do differently, or I expect the teacher to coach me so I can go over it or skip that part or whatever, move on. But he doesn't let me do that. And
What does he do?
He just tells me to keep trying, but I don't know how else to keep trying.
You can't figure it out.
No, so I got stuck, and since I can't move on, I started to get bored and kind of started to lose the interest. Then there was a turning point when I decided to change my teacher. So I actually went down a level because this teacher is teaching a class below.
You were
level.
beginner 2, and now you're beginner 1 class.
Yeah, but it's this lady, and I had no idea how her style was, but I was definitely eager to try a different coaching style.
Yeah.
And I went, and she is I wish I had changed earlier. She's so much more friendly and nicer and easygoing, and it fits me really, my style really well. And she doesn't really
push
you like an athlete. So she's very chill. It's if it's really hard and you feel like it's gonna hurt you, just relax and take it easy. Those are kind of the words that actually motivate me in some ways.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, say the words again. What was it?
What do you mean?
Which words motivate you? What style?
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
And
it's okay.
and
you don't have to finish.
That kind of thing.
Oh, okay. And then the Napoleon is is that all you can do? Come on.
Yeah, he's so tough.
I see. So this negative reinforcement, again, we talked about it in a previous podcast.
Yeah.
You don't respond well to that.
And then I changed my class, and for the first time, I got some compliment, and I felt so misplaced.
Yeah, you were the last person, or you weren't doing the best in the beginner 2. And then
I was actually one of the worst people.
And then you moved down, and then you became what? You became the king of the hill? You're the best person in the class, or what?
Yeah, first of all, there's much less people. There's only 4 people in this class. I don't know, I'm getting so many compliments from the teacher.
But something must have triggered in your mind, because now you're trying so hard that I see blisters on your hand.
I think so.
That's the first time I've ever seen one, sweat,
Yeah, I actually
and
got.
two, blisters on your hand.
Yeah, today I was actually really motivated to push myself
Why?
because she didn't tell me to push myself, so I wanted to push myself.
I see. Interesting. So that's why we were having that like interesting talk in the car about, do you want to be the big fish in a small pond, or do you want to be a small fish in a large pond?
Yeah, we have a similar saying in Korean. So do you want to be the tail of a dragon or the head of a chicken?
Is that what the equivalent is?
Yeah. And I feel like
So right now, as you move down, you've become the head of a chicken.
well, that analogy really fitted my situation really well.
I see. And so now, like when you're on the wall, you don't want to fall off because you're the head of the chicken and you got to show the other newbies what's up.
I think so. I think that kind of works.
Mm.
Like before, I had no expectation on myself.
Oh.
So I would just, if I can't do it, I would just give up because I felt kind of like nobody.
Mm.
And then now in this class, even though there's only very few people,
Yeah.
like people are watching at me. So it kind of gives me pressure to do a little bit, you know.
Since you came in from the higher class, they expect you to be like the best person. So you're trying to live up to that standard, right? Whereas in the other class, when you were in the rear of the dragon booty, like people didn't expect you to do well. So it just demotivates you to try anyway, right?
Yeah, because the expectation is that I would fail all the
Yeah.
time. So, and then I would fail.
So maybe sometimes it's good to take a step back, and it like
I
helps
think
you
so.
motivate to move back forward.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, this could apply to a company too, right? Like if you're trying to become like number one at like the biggest firm, like law firm,
Like a Google or,
or any professional services,
yeah.
maybe I can't survive in this competitive environment. So you take a step back and you go to like let's say a local firm and you become top
Yeah.
dog.
Mm.
Maybe that's like sustainable. Mm.
Yeah, that's not bad actually.
Yeah. That's what the interesting like point was. In most cases, it's better to be that head of the chicken.
Is that the situation that you will prefer to? Because you're a little bit different style.
Yeah,
from
I'm
me.
wired a little bit different. If you're able to thrive in competition,
Yeah.
then you want to play in the biggest pond. I think for me, I'm okay at this point. The competition is not that hard.
So you would prefer to be the tail of a dragon if that's like takes you to a higher rank?
Yeah, I don't know. I've always lived in competition-driven environments, so
So you're confident that even if you're a tail at one point, you will drive up towards the head.
yeah, exactly. Without sounding cocky, I never see myself as the ass of a dragon. I'll at least make it to the thighs.
Good for you, Daniel.
But you know what? For climbing, for me, Katie, I think I might stop these lessons because, like you were mentioning, the learning cycle is very important in anything that you learn. I kind of realize with the climbing, it's very simple. Like how many times are you on the wall? And when we do these group lessons, we have, like you mentioned, like 10 or 8 people, and the amount of cycles that you get in a 2-hour group lesson is around 4 or 5. Whereas if I go by myself, then I can do within 2 hours probably like 12 to 15 rotations. And so my rate of getting better is much better. So I think, no, I don't want to be no professional, but I do want to see how far I can go at this age with this body, with this mentality, and see how far. But these group lessons, I think, have done its job of making it fun for me. So I like the sport. I'm hooked. But number 2, there's a side benefit, which is the social. It's so much fun when, like, maybe you're not even like talking with people, but I really thrive off of energy from people. And so just being in a group setting where I can laugh or just like see other people doing the same stuff.
Yes. When I look over to Daniel
Yeah.
during the class, he's always talking to some girls.
No, come on, Katie.
He is. And then like at the end of the class,
They're
he
asking
always
me.
finds out something new about a new girl. He's like, oh, she's a tattooist. or yeah.
No, Katie, I told you. People approach me very easily. People just like they just ask me random stuff.
It's so funny because there was this girl who first came to my class, but then she was too advanced for my class.
Yeah.
So for her second lesson, she got moved up to your class.
Mm.
But when she was in my class, nobody knew that she was a tattooist or anything about her. But then as soon as she moves up to your class, you find out that she's a tattooist. And tell me about it.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being amicable and trying to. Otherwise,
Yes, very good talent.
hey, if I look at other classes, everyone is like sometimes the class environment is like the SATs. People are like studying their SATs. Like no one's saying a word. I mean, this is group exercise. I mean, why is it so serious?
Yeah.
So I don't know, just laugh. And I make fun of our teacher a lot. I go, you can do it.
But your teacher is like 10 years younger than you.
Yeah, I also give him a lot of respect because a lot of the guys in our class, they have that like Korean mindset of like, oh, he's so much younger, so
He's only 20.
Yeah, I know, but what the heck was I doing at age of 20? I was in my room studying, right? But here he is trying to make a living. I'm sure he needs money, so
really amazing.
He's already put himself in a leadership position, and he's teaching 30-year-olds how to do a sport, and he commands attention. He's great at it. He almost went professional. That's amazing. Like you, no matter what you do later in life, you're going to already be able to know how to lead a team, be able to speak to people, have the confidence to present yourself eloquently. So it's great.
Yeah.
But the other kids in my class, I think they're a little bit younger. They kind of look down on him or try to like, who is he to tell me what to do? But I'm like,
don't appreciate him as much.
Are you guys stupid? You guys are paying money to learn. Like, what's wrong with you guys?
that thing about age is much stronger in Korean culture. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why if you're young, I would say don't reveal your age. Because once you reveal your age, people will start looking at you differently.
They might try to tell you to do all this like grunt work, depending on the setting. Yeah. Beyond climbing, what else was eventful this week that we should discuss and talk with our neighbors? Anything that comes to mind?
So there was a big phishing incident.
Fishing?
With my mom.
She went out to the ocean?
Phishing. How do you say it?
Fishing.
Phishing.
What type of
Phish?
like fraud.
Yes.
I see.
It's the same word, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean different spelling, but
Yeah. So tell me more about it. What happened?
So I hope you guys listen and kind of get some lessons away from this because this actually happened to my mom. So one day she got a random call from this person in a bank, or actually a capital company. Yeah, and asking her that, suggesting her that she's using a high interest loan, so they will give out a low interest loan so that she can transfer it.
Yeah.
And then, so they wanted her to give her some personal information. So they wanted to do some credit rating behind her. And this was all over a phone.
Was this like a reputable company, or is it a big company?
They call themselves to be KB Capital.
KB is like the Korea's biggest bank.
Yeah, well, the top 4 banks in Korea.
Yeah.
So of course my mom had like no suspicion about it. And then, she wanted to proceed with it. And then like further conversations went on. And then they wanted her to install this app on her phone so they could do the credit rating checks and stuff. And then
I could see where this is going.
But, my mom is not very tech savvy.
Yeah.
She doesn't really do any of the bank activities on her phone.
She's old school.
Yeah. So they asked her to install this app. They gave her a link to download it, but it wasn't, later on she told me, it wasn't from like a Google Play Store or whatever. You had to actually have that link, and she said it kept failing. The thing wouldn't download.
The app wouldn't download onto her phone?
So she would like try 5 or 6 times, and it finally did.
Okay.
But then when she wanted to open the app or something, it said
I'm getting nervous for your mom.
It was from an untrusted verifier.
Oh my god!
You know that message?
Yeah. This is being downloaded from.
But then she said that to them, and they're like, "Oh yes, so you can override it by going to this setting." And they were telling her all the like details.
Yeah.
But she still couldn't figure it out. So she had to ask one of her coworkers to help do it,
Oh my gosh.
to override the setting.
Yeah.
And then she did. And she said she finally downloaded the app.
Oh no. Oh no.
And then, yes, and then it was kind of like towards late in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, so they're going to run through their checks
Yeah.
and then give her the loan the next morning.
Okay.
So quick and easy. And she said they didn't actually require as much like documents as like other banks would.
Yeah.
So she thought that was a little bit strange, and she did have like this gut feeling that it might be a scam, but she still wanted to go ahead with it because my mom said she was kind of curious what they will end up like requesting her if it was a scam. So she went on with it. And then it was kind of turning late at night. And then at night, she called me about all this, what happened. And I told her this is totally phishing. It's a scam. But she said she still has the app downloaded on her phone. And you know why they tell you to download their special app?
Why?
It's because they can actually over-mask the numbers to call the official institution. So let's say they were calling themselves as KB Capital, right?
Yeah.
So my mom says she actually went online to
search
look
for
up
the phone
their
number?
official number.
Right. Right.
And then she called
right.
through her phone that has the app installed.
Yeah.
They will direct that call to their office. That's what that app does. That's why it's dangerous.
I got it.
So they block
Hold on,
the
hold
way
on, hold
for
on,
you
hold
to
on.
verify it.
So if you download the app onto your phone and you call that bank's real number,
Yeah.
it'll reroute
They'll
towards...
hijack that number.
Oh my God.
So on your phone, it looks like you're calling that number.
Oh, it shows up as the number, but it's being rerouted.
Yes.
Is this like a
That's
Netflix film?
That's why they tell you not to download any suspicious
Apps that are not verified through the Apple Store? Oh my God.
But then she said something was a little bit weird because
Tell me more.
usually when you call the official bank number,
Yeah.
you know, it takes ages for you to get to the actual person, right?
Ah, right. For balance check,
Yeah.
press 1.
You know, it's like...
For problems with fraud, press 2. If
Yeah.
you'd like to speak to an operator, press 0.
Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah, that one.
But for
right?
this one, she
Yeah.
said it took a little bit, maybe 4 or 5 rings, but the same person would pick up.
Oh, so there was no automated menu. It went straight to an operator.
Yeah, so then that was another like click on her, you know.
Another red flag.
And then she said the person on the phone also had a little bit of that 조선족 accent, which is like the Chinese Koreans.
Ah, she had a little accent.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But usually those people on the call centers will have very proper Seoul accent, you know.
Right. It's very difficult to get into that company.
And that's like the most standard accent in Korea. So I've never heard of any call center person using a 조선족 accent.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what happened? Don't tell me your mom... wait,
so-
hold on. Is it a good ending or bad ending? Tell me now.
It's a good ending.
Okay.
And then we get to the bottom of this.
Okay. Now
And
continue.
then they actually like show their real self.
Okay, Katie, 1 second. This is the difference between a guy and a girl explaining a story. The guy is very quick. Right, dude? Hey, my mom almost got fish. It didn't work out, dude. It's crazy. That's it. Whereas a girl goes straight through the details and the guy's reaction, I'm like, so what happened? And okay, get through the details. Okay, come on. Anyway.
But then you already know the ending, so the story is not as fun now.
All right, now continue. So after that, how did she... That was the first red flag, the accent.
So the funny thing was she said as soon as she deleted the app, they called her.
Oh, so it
And
was
they
being
were
tracked.
And they were like, they didn't say exactly, did you delete the app? But they will be like, oh, we're having problem getting connections to your like server or data or something. We're having problem like analyzing your data. Did you do something different?
Interesting.
And then my mom was like, not really. And then they will ask, oh, actually, did you delete the app? And then she'll be like, yeah, I did.
Sneaky.
So they will keep telling you to not delete the app. So she reinstalled the app after another 5 or 6 trials. She said the link doesn't work immediately.
The scammers met their match with a non-tech savvy.
I know.
It's like a heaven sent match together.
Yeah, it's so funny. And then the next morning came, and then during the night, she said she deleted the app again because I told her to delete it because you never know what kind of data they're trying to fetch from you or whatever.
That's what you were talking with your mom for so long about. I thought you were helping her set up something on her phone.
Yeah, and then at this point, we already know that it's a scam.
Yeah.
But she wanted to kind of know what they come up with next.
Your mom's so funny too. She wanted to push it along.
Yeah,
she wanted to flip the tables.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
She said, I have a curious mind, so I want to know what they are gonna do next to me.
I'm curious too. So what?
So she said next morning they called, and then they told her to again install the app again. And then after a while, she got a call from another person who called themselves to be from another bank.
Oh, from a separate bank.
Yeah, separate bank this time. And they were like, oh, somehow they already knew that my mom has a loan at this bank. I'm just gonna call it Bank A.
Okay.
And then they were like, oh, so you have this amount of loan from us? So that's like giving you assurance, right?
Yeah.
And then she were like, oh, but there was something, this loan was actually issued illegally. So you have to pay a fine for this. That's what they said.
So your mom does have an outstanding loan right now, and then they figured out somehow to get that details.
Yes.
To make it seem like they're credible.
And then, basically what I said, they said my mom's loan was illegal. Which, by the way,
but it makes
totally
no sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Because your mom's had the loan probably for some time, right?
Yeah, but they said that at the time she had the loan issued maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But whatever that she did was illegal.
What?
And the details they couldn't give. But then they said, so you have to pay a fine right now. Or no, they said you have to pay back that loan immediately. Otherwise, we're gonna 압수 뭐라 그러지? They're gonna put a claim to seize the house.
Oh my gosh.
So it's kind of like an ultimatum. They're threatening her now, right?
Yeah.
Because she wasn't really responding well to them. She was like, keep asking questions. Why are you doing this? Why is my house being seized? Why do I have to pay back all these questions? And then my mom said, go ahead and do it. Because she's like also in like working as a businesswoman. So she
knows what's up.
Yeah. And then as soon as she hung up the call with that person.
Yeah. This was the third party bank.
Yes. And
not the KB Capital.
The original person from KB Capital, who claims to be KB Capital, by the way, calls her. And she's like, oh, so our loan is ready to give out to you. But this other bank A is telling us to hold it because you have some payment to do.
My gosh.
So they're the same groups now.
Yeah, they have their own scheme like set up.
Their own network.
You know what though? You know what? I already see it because I used to work in sales. So they're doing the good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Right? The KB Capital who wants to give you the loan, who's lured you into their scam is the good cop. And then they don't want to get threatening with you. So then they have that other third party call you, be threatening and be like, I really want to help you. I really want to help you, right? It's like when you go buy a used car, the guy that you're dealing with is like, man, I would love to give you an extra $10,000 discount, but I got to go talk to my line manager.
Yeah.
You'll go back, you'll probably drink a cup of coffee, maybe drink a cigarette or have a cigarette and come back. He's like, dude, my man, I'm so sorry, but my line manager is refusing, right? So if you're not the ultimate decision maker, it's so much easier to give negative news because that person can't blame you. Yeah. It's funny. They put in all of these like psychological tricks.
They're so like sophisticated with their attack.
And then your mom was just
that
the
was like
conclusion.
basically the end.
That's insane, though. If I think about that they actually made an app and then it's masking the calls to go to the call center. I mean, I would get phished too. I mean, that's a very
but we wouldn't, because there were so many points on the way that was suggesting that they're suspicious.
But if you're desperate for money, and you want to believe, you'll believe.
Then
you'll believe. And they prey on those like grandmas, and I'm not saying your mom's or grandpa. I'm just saying they're preying on like people who don't know. Like they're probably only calling like 40 to 50-year-old like women. Like they're not calling like 20 to 30-year-olds. Like, you know.
Because she said the app looked very, very similar to the real like app, the KB Capital app. But she said it was very much simpler.
The UI was too simple looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to use the current KB Bank app to send something, it's a headache. There was no headache in that app.
Yeah, usually the bank apps are very like complicated, so many sub menus.
That's right.
But she said it was very, very simple. There were just 2 buttons. So that was pretty an eventful day. What else?
Oh, Katie.
What?
Oh, I just thought about. There's this Netflix movie that I saw. I forgot the exact name. I think it's called Octopus is My Teacher, or I Learned from My Octopus. I don't know, something like that. But it was an incredibly just beautiful film.
It's a film.
Yeah, it's a film. It's about this guy who he used to go around filming the African tribes. I think they were like some of the best hunter-gatherers. I think it was like one of the best of those warriors left in Africa, and he went to go document them. But during that trip, he got so bogged down with the project. I think he was doing it for National Geographic, through the politics and having to be editing for like almost years on the project. He got burnt out, like completely jaded with life. And so he decided to stop filming, stop editing, and he just went to nature, because apparently when he was young, that's what he always looked forward to. Ooh. And so he went into the ocean, right? And he's just started to do diving without any scuba gear. And one thing he was reflecting on was that African tribe, when they go trace animals or when they're going hunting for animals, they're so connected with the nature. They can like smell very small like scents in the air. They can see like very small differences in foot tracks of the animals, how the sand is shifting. And they're so attuned with nature. And he said, I would love to become that attuned with nature. How beautiful that is, right? So one day he was trying to figure out what he would do. Like his relationship with his kid was bad. Just everything, his life breaking down because his entire like, you know, career and everything. He's burnt out, right?
Yeah.
So he goes into this ocean to go swim. And it was in the Atlantic, if I remember correctly. And he finds this like kelp forest, right? And he goes into the kelp forest and he sees, in the beginning, like he was not a good swimmer. So he goes in every day and he's trying to learn how to swim. Not learn how to swim, but trying to get comfortable swimming in the ocean. And it's very rugged.
Yeah.
So, but then he got used to that. And then he started going out pretty far and he finds this like little patch of seaweed forest, right? Apparently, like right in the middle of this kelp forest, there's an opening. Ooh. And he dives under. And he decides to take his camera for the first time in a very long while. Right? Is this interesting? Should I keep going?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm interested to
where this have I got you hooked? So he takes his camera and he starts to take photos of like underground like seahorses, of little marine animals, of crabs. And it's kind of re-sparking this connection back to nature is re-sparking his passion for photography. One day, he sees a little octopus in the bottom of the ocean. Okay. But it's in this strange like formation. Oh. Like at first, he didn't know what it was because the octopus, it picked up seashells. And
oh my God.
It like, because you know, octopus has 8 legs, right? Is it 8, 16, 24, whatever, however much it has. It picked up all these little seashells and it was guarding itself. And it almost looked like a soccer ball.
What?
Because octopus, number one, are very intelligent, and number two, they have dexterity. They can like move all of their octopus arms. Like, you know, if only I could have that for climbing, I would be in advanced class. Anyway,
can't they do camouflage too?
yeah, I mean that they can do that. They can anyway. So he sees this little soccer ball looking thing, and he's like, "Oh my god, that's an octopus, right?"
Yeah. So did he kick it?
Sorry, kid. I didn't expect you to say that. You guys gotta love Katie. This is why my life is joyous. Did he kick it? Yeah. Yeah, that was the end of the film. So he gets so fascinated with this octopus that he decides to go film it every day. Because he wanted to become, he was reminded of that African tribe and how well those warriors were able to trace those animals. So he said, this is my challenge. I'm going to make the ocean my Serengeti, my safari. And I'm going to know every patch of this little hole in this seaweed forest.
Okay.
And he goes in without oxygen, right? And the funny thing is, or I'm sorry, without a tank. Every day after he met that octopus, the octopus starts to get friendlier with the camera and him.
What?
Right? So the octopus, at one point, maybe like a week later, it actually extends its hands out to him. It doesn't run away. It doesn't stay burrowed in its little crevice. And the octopus, and then he like touches, he extends his hand, right?
Yeah.
And they both touch hands. And at that moment, the octopus, he realizes that from the octopus perspective, it's like the octopus met an alien, right?
Yeah.
It's met human life for the first time. It's like something that doesn't belong in its environment. And it's like us touching an alien's hand. But it was peaceful. Okay. And when I was watching this, I was just thinking about aliens.
How did they even film it like that?
Well, he's a photographer, so he put the camera down.
Oh.
And he touches, and then the octopus, it's so curious.
Oh my god.
Innocence. It doesn't know how to react. And the guy is so gentle with it, right? So the next day comes, it's like it comes closer to him. At one point, the octopus even crawls up to him and it lets him like pet him like this. And this is crazy, right? This is not a goddamn cat or a dog, right? Even my cat at home, it doesn't come up to me, let alone a goddamn octopus. I'm sorry, there's no need to curse here.
Wow, they became friends.
Yeah, right? It's interesting, right? And so now he's going every day. And now the octopus knows. By the way, did I mention octopus are very high IQ? We should not be eating it. But I love it. It tastes good. Anyway.
Oh, no, it's going to be very hard.
Yeah, like Koreans are so bushcare, so ignorant. They put a live thing over the grill, but it tastes so good. Put some gochujang on it. I'm conflicted, guys. Anyway, I continue on with the story.
Isn't this too much of a spoiler? I mean, already it sounds so good and interesting.
Well, it's all right. I mean, if you're gonna watch the film, turn it off now. But I'm sure no one's gonna be watching 2 hours of an octopus
Sounds more like a documentary rather than a film.
It is. But anyway, just listen and you'll watch the film and it'll be as beautiful as I make it sound to be, all right? So this guy now is like week 2 and it's gotten so friendly that he's now, the thing will like play with him.
Oh my God.
And then here's, a movie has to have like a twist, right? So he goes in and then it's like playing with him. It's like stroking his hair. I'm just kidding. It's not stroking his hair. But all of a sudden, the camera lens, it drops from his waist, from his belt, and it makes a sudden movement, right? And this octopus gets freaked out, right? Because up till now, the guy was like a ballerina, all subtle in the water. And now he lost all his trust.
Oh my God.
So the octopus jets out of that area with ink and it just flees the hell out. Because now the octopus is like, okay, this guy was just setting me up. This guy is a predator too.
Yeah.
I should have known better.
Yeah.
So this guy comes out of it so depressed out of the ocean. He's like, the crazy thing is you can see him. It's like almost like he's having an affair with his wife. It sounds crazy, right? But the way it's filmed and the way you can see, because, there's sometimes women is like, okay, I don't mind if you had sex with that person, but did you catch feelings for him? Right? Haven't you seen that in movies or like, but for women, it's like, did you actually grow emotions toward it, right?
Mm.
Well, it's obvious that he's growing emotions for this octopus. In the back of my mind, I was like, this is so crazy. I don't know how to feel about it.
It's
I was
like
like,
an affair.
no, I was like in the middle of it. I was like, I hope at the end, this movie is not like, yes, so I decided to leave my family and live with the octopus. I was like, I'm gonna throw this computer out the window if it ends like that. It's crazy.
Did he decide to adopt it as a pet?
I know that. No, he didn't. So now all he can think about is this octopus because he's been filming it and editing it every night, right? It's like his obsession, right? But the obsession is real. He could feel it and it crawls on him, right? So he decides to go look for it. He was reminded about the Africans, the tribe that he documented, how they could track a lion for like 2 weeks. So he's like, I'm the protagonist now. I need to go trace that octopus. So he goes and he like spends like weeks in that same area learning about if a snail pooped or if like a starfish moved 2 inches. Apparently he got so attuned with that small patch of land. And then he finds the octopus.
Oh my God.
In a different area. Isn't that crazy? You know how hard it is to find an octopus?
I know, and then it's in the ocean.
Yeah, I've gone scuba diving. I can see I can't even see a shark. Remember that leopard shark I told you that was above me? I didn't even know. So at one point, someone in the movie is asking him like, hey, why do you go to that same piece of land all the time or same piece of ocean? Guy was like, I go because it's the only way for me to learn. I go because it's the only way for me to learn this area if I go every day. I want to learn details. It's more interesting than just knowing a little bit about a big space. And I kind of reflected on that too. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Like doing a craft. Let's say we're making food, making sushi for 30 years. That's when you really become attuned with your craft, you know? Lately with capitalism. Okay, sorry, I'm on a tangent. Let's go back to the octopus. So he finds it and then he has to build this trust relationship again.
Yeah.
And it's a great analogy for him and his life with his child. Right? Because
he has a bad relationship.
Yeah, he didn't have he couldn't connect to his child because his work was so bad and he wasn't doing a good job as a father. So he lost his trust and now he has to build the trust back up with the octopus, right? And long story short, he does rebuild that trust, right? And now the octopus really like knows this guy. He films for nearly 1 year.
Oh my God.
And he's able to see how hard of a life it is for this octopus because at nighttime, there's all sorts of shark. And these shark, they bury their nose into every crevice and they want to eat. So he sees this octopus getting attacked, but he's there every day. So he sees it and he has this like moral decision to make. Do I go and actually help my octopus girlfriend? Sorry.
Excuse me?
Or do I watch her die? By the way, it's a female. He knows it's a female.
Ooh.
I wonder if he would like if it was an octopus male, but besides the point. But he says it's wrong if I help the octopus out. So I give him props there. You shouldn't mess around with nature. You should let nature run its course. There's like a shark that bites the leg off the octopus.
Oh my gosh. Now I have feelings for that octopus.
Yeah, and the octopus, but the octopus in one fight with the shark, it's amazing how smart it is. The sharks are blind, so it only goes by smell. So the octopus decides to, he knows he needs to get his octopus smell off of it. So the she goes into the bed of kelp because the kelp has slime on it.
Yeah.
And so it wraps in it like a blanket and it has this little eye. And it's just looking where the shark is.
Oh my God.
But the shark's nose, like a dog, right? Dog can smell like weed everywhere in an airport, right? That octopus can smell. This shark can smell this octopus. I'm sorry, octopus like anywhere it is, right?
Yeah.
And so the octopus is like, this can only last for so long. So the shark is getting close. And you know what it does? It jumps out of the water. I've never seen this. I've never been so amazed.
Octopus jump out of the water?
Yeah. It jumps out of the water onto these rocks, and it slowly crawls over the rocks into a nearby, what do you call that? Nearby pool of water, into the adjacent, right? But the shark is hungry. So it's waiting because that adjacent pool of water, it still connects underwater, right?
Yeah.
So it darts down after it jumps in the water, and the thing is after it again.
Oh my God.
So then that octopus goes down to the another area, and then it turns itself into a ball. It collects all of the seashells that it's ate, crab shells, the abalone shells, and it turns into a soccer ball.
Oh.
And when did I mention that soccer ball? In the very beginning.
Yeah.
Right? When that guy saw it. So that octopus was fending itself off from a shark back then too.
Yeah.
Right? So it's using the same strategy. But then the shark comes and it just raggles it, right? Shakes it. And then a limb falls off. It bits off a limb. And then what it does while it's being shaken, the octopus, in its last strategy, in its last tactic, it binds on to the fin of the shark. It's on top of the shark.
Wow, so clever.
I have never seen this on Nat Geo. This is
not even like on BBC documentary.
exactly, because why? You have to film things every day to see all of these incredible footage, which is what this guy did since he has an octopus girlfriend. So it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And so this octopus is on the back of this shark and it rides it for like 30 minutes. It's incredible.
So does the shark know?
It doesn't know where the hell it is.
Oh, wow.
Right? Or maybe it does, but it doesn't know how to shake it off. And then at one point it goes back into the seaweed area, and then it just gently falls off the back and it goes.
Wow.
Right?
How did that guy film this all though?
He's there to see his girlfriend, I'm telling you, every day.
Yeah, but he must be moving to follow this whole movement.
Yeah, maybe there's some trickery there. I don't know. But I was sold. Yeah.
Wow. That's the ending?
No, but then the beautiful thing, it goes back to life. I think it's one of the, it just made me think on so many things. After, I think it was like 10 months later, this guy still filmed this cycle.
Wow.
I feel sorry for his wife. Honey, aren't you going to talk? No, I want to see the octopus. Honey, aren't you going to play with the kids? No, the octopus is waiting for me. 10 months later, he goes down and the octopus is in its den, but there's a larger octopus next to it.
What?
Yeah, and octopus are generally, they like to be by themselves.
Oh.
They do not like to share their space. It's like Katie when she's ready to eat. And then he realized,
girlfriend?
no, the octopus is a girl, Katie, pay attention.
It's the boyfriend.
Yeah, it was mating season.
Ooh.
So the octopus,
Did the guy get jealous?
yeah, it kind of thought like that. And I was like, oh no,
my
it's
God.
a Jerry Springer episode. No, he wasn't jealous. Basically they mated and now the octopus is full. It is pregnant.
Yeah.
It has to give off, lay its eggs, right? I didn't know, but the octopus then, it's lived such a hard, every day in the nature, it's brutal, right? It's kill or be killed, right? And so this octopus now, it goes back in its den, it lays its egg. And during this time, he's done so much research that he knows that once an octopus goes into its den to lay its eggs, the mother dies. Because it gives off all of its nutrients to its eggs, and it just stays
the nature.
Yeah, it stays in there. It stays in there for however many weeks without going for food because it wants to guard it. I feel kind of like, I'm about to cry, but I feel like it's like some sad story. I feel like
because that's like by nature, that's the role of the female.
The parents, yeah.
So she's done all that she has to do.
Exactly.
So there's no more use for her.
And so he couldn't handle it anymore because he saw that she was losing color. The octopus too, it turns like white and it's not moving around and it's in its den. So he couldn't handle it anymore. So he broke open like a little mussel and he laid it in front of the den. He didn't want to put himself with nature, but he put himself in there in that time. And then the octopus, it's so like tired that it can't even like eat the abalone or the whatever he put in front of the den. Like 2 weeks later, he sees the little baby octopus moving around and and then the mom, it's near death. And she crawls out of her den and it's limpless. and then the sharks come and just rip her apart.
Oh,
She's dead.
yeah.
And then this guy is like
So heartbreaking.
devastated, right? Because for a
Yeah.
year, can you think about seeing something on a year on your TV, on your screen?
After that incident, he got the trust back from the octopus. Long time ago, after
Yeah.
he dropped the camera.
Oh yeah. When he refound her,
Yeah.
like they went through this whole like interaction, and she
Again?
trusted him again.
Oh,
And
wow.
she trusted him so much that at one point, the guy would come up to the surface for air,
Yeah.
and he would be holding the octopus near his chest,
Whoa.
and the octopus would go up with him. And he was also noting that octopus, because they're so intellectual, they like to have fun because this thing is so curious. And one important question that he raised in the beginning was like, I'm getting value out of this, but what is this octopus getting value out of putting himself in risk? That's a very good question. If you're living in nature, what's the risk of going to this friendly thing? Because the guy is like, he's not hiding in a crevice. He's like out in the open ocean. And if you're darting towards him, you can be risked getting seen by a predator, right?
Yeah.
But then his conclusion was that this octopus has so much intellect that it's entertaining for him to learn new things and experience new things.
For no compensation.
Yeah. And like just feeling things with its tentacles, new stuff and new experiences, it's exhilarating for his IQ.
Oh, wow.
Right?
So clever.
And so it's a mutual relationship. That's why it keeps coming back to him.
They're like humans in some ways then.
I know. Anyway, at the end, after this octopus, it comes full circle. It's a very beautiful story. So his kid, during this process,
Connects with him?
Yeah, connects with his dad. And the kid gets so fascinated with the octopus that the dad gets him into diving, and he develops a very good relationship. And one time, the son goes back to the same spot, and then he finds this like baby octopus. But if you time when the eggs were hatched and the size, they were thinking that it was the octopus is one of its children. And it comes up towards him. And so there was so many parallels from the first contact, like aliens, about trust, about how hard life is, and the role of a mother towards connecting with your kids, towards, you know, everything has a start to an end. And yeah, it was a beautiful film. I you know, I turned this on like late around 11 and I was just watching it.
It covers so many points.
Yeah.
About like living life.
Yeah. And also through him recording this, he was able to like show and capture so many different things about octopus that the world has never seen and get this Netflix film out of it. So he got his career back too, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've decided to, if YouTube doesn't work out, I'm grabbing my camera and going underwater. Gonna find me a nice jellyfish.
I don't think we can eat octopus anymore.
I know, that's what I was like.
I feel so confused.
But nakji bokum, nakji stir-fried rice, octopus stir-fried,
there's this
so
place
good.
that does really well outside my workplace. I don't think we should.
They're really incredibly, you know, even during World Cup, they put that like octopus into it to like pick stuff. But apparently octopus to pick out the winning team. And
what are you talking about?
During the World Cup, there was this like famous octopus, and it had
Korea?
I don't know what country it was in, but it had the good record of picking the winning teams. They would put in like 2 balls and it would select one, but that has nothing to do with IQ. I'm just throwing some random fact in there. But yeah, that was my story about the teacher.
That was octopus. Pretty long story though, Daniel.
Yeah.
You took up half of our time.
No. But it was interesting, hopefully. I mean, what else is he going to talk about?
I was really intrigued. I hope our listeners were interested and were taking along this journey with us.
Yeah, go look it up at Netflix.
What's it called again?
Octopus is my teacher. I don't know. I think something like that. If you type in something like that, it'll come up. No worries.
You watch all these shows like secretly in your room without telling me.
Because I work late at night, and then I save all the like non-thinking activities where I could just do And I just put Netflix on the background and I just finish out all the tasks, the menial tasks I need to do for the next day.
Now that I heard the story in words, I want to actually see the graphics.
You want to see the movie?
Mm.
And next week, Kitty, is what?
It's Chuseok, our biggest festival.
Yeah, it's
in
Korean
Korea.
Thanksgiving. And so I think maybe we're gonna have to put up a podcast after that week.
Yeah.
So,
Because I'm going to be going down to Busan,
and I'm gonna be going down to Jeollabuk-do,
some countryside.
very countryside where my grandma lives.
Yeah.
I actually miss my grandma. I want to go see her. What do you do during Chuseok? Do you have any like family traditions, or is it pretty eat and just typical like eat?
Yeah, we just meet with our relatives, and we have that, that regular Chuseok meal in the morning. Then
Do you guys do cheza?
Chesa, yeah, we do the chesa.
Cheza is like for our English speaking, it's like it's a little ceremony that we do to respect our ancestors or elders that have passed away. And we put food, like a lot of food, on tables, and then we light a little incense, and then we take a little bow. Does your family prepare all the food, or do you buy it?
So there's this the first son's family prepares the food usually. So we just go there early in the morning and help out.
You don't do cheza at your house. You do it at the...
Yeah, it's usually the first son.
I see.
And then, yeah, but over the years, it's got much more simplified. So my childhood memory of chesa is like much more like big and like diverse set of dishes. And like, yeah, in my memory, it was such a big event. But now, like due to practicality, and a lot of food is actually being wasted after the chesa because it's too much food that we make just for the sake of the formality. So a lot of families have simplified it to just keep it very, very bare minimum. And that's what we do actually. So we don't have to prepare the food in advance. We just go and help out in the morning, and that's enough. Yeah,
that's great. One thing that I actually do really cherish about coming to Korea is spending time with my extended family. Like when I was growing up in the States, I always wanted an extended family because it was just my immediate family. And then during Chuseok, when you come together, my family said before I came, a lot of my uncles, and they're always fighting and stuff. But now, after I came like 10 years ago, they stopped doing that. But
you have a really big family. Like you have
on my mom's side,
uncles and
and it's because my grandmother's still alive. So all of my uncles, they all behave and they all aggregate
and listen to your grandma.
That's right. And we still have our big uncle that lives with my grandma now to help her out because she does farming and stuff. So when we meet, it's funny because my grandma chased away all of my aunts because my grandma is like old school and she'll just speak whatever comes to mind. And so all of my aunts probably got a dose of my grandma. So now, actually, when you think about Thanksgiving, you think about everyone coming together to enjoy a meal. But for a lot of women, it's traditionally they come and help the grandma or the eldest person set up all the food.
Yeah, it's not something they look forward to.
Never. Yeah, they come do all the dishes, help clean everything, make all the food, and then the guys come and enjoy and eat, and then
sleep.
Yeah, or just sleep because they're so tired. And then the women and the children usually eat separately at a different table because they're the ones serving the food, and then the table's not big enough, which is usually what happens.
Yeah.
I guess what I really like, at least for me, was...
But that's still... I'm so surprised that's still what happens nowadays. Like when I go on Chuseok or to my like relative's house, the sons never like even stand up.
They don't even budge.
Yo, it's all the girls who are like all in the kitchen.
I swear my life is flipped upside down because like... my gosh, because when we go, since none of the aunts are there, like all the uncles are doing it because they feel sorry for their moms, of course, or my grandma.
Yeah.
And then once my uncles start doing, all the kids, all the guys better line up, right? Or else they're gonna get pounded in the head,
Yeah.
get chewed out. So when I'm there, I'm like crouched down, washing dishes. I'm doing chan, the pancakes
Yeah.
for this, for the chesa. My grandma likes to go all out, like dongrang things, which are like Korean meatballs, and then like the skewered with the spam, with the tanmunji, the pickled radish. Then what are the other two? See, I know them off the top of my head. The bell pepper and the pa,
mushroom.
the spring onion. You put all that on a skewer, put that in some pancake batter, Korean pancake batter, then into egg wash, then on the thing and
You're
grill.
in charge of the pancakes.
My gosh, I would smell like canola oil every year. That process and making fun of each other, and then with the cousins drinking soju at nighttime, and that I really like. And so that's what I'm looking forward to.
But because of COVID, they are recommending people not to go meet with families.
Yeah, that's something we have to be wary about. But I'm going to go down for sure.
Yeah,
See my grandma.
Yeah, your grandma like calls you so many times to ask if you're coming down,
Yeah, I have to go see her. I think once we get back from Chuseok, I think we'll have a lot of fun stories to tell.
And
we can share.
Once Chuseok is over, it's gonna feel like even the weather is gonna feel very different.
I'm curious to track that date that we were supposed to get married this year before it got postponed, to see if it actually rains or how the weather was. If it rains, then I'm going to feel so good.
What difference does it make?
Because it's good that it got postponed if the weather is shitty. If the weather was perfect, oh my gosh, I'd be like, COVID. But one thing that I'm not looking forward to is the Chuseok drive. Guys, half of Korea, nearly 80%.
Let's see
go
if
down
it's
to
better
their
this time, because they're telling people not to move.
Basically, everyone living in Seoul goes back down to their hometown, and everyone's on the interstate, and it's like bumper to bumper. I think last time I spent 11 hours in a car coming up because we got stuck in the worst traffic. Me and my uncle got so sick of it, we just went into like a hotel room and slept the night, and woke up at 5 and continued the drive.
How long would it take if it was no traffic?
From where we live now, it's 2 hours and a half. It's fast. It's faster than Yangyang. All right, guys, that's too much details. We're going to let you go. We hope you enjoyed our podcast, our stories about some octopus getting
that was the
phished.
Highlight.
Yeah.
Oh, but at one point you called him Psycho. Is that okay?
Kitty, like as I mentioned, we have... It's all right, Kitty.
And you called my climbing teacher Napoleon. What did you say?
Napoleon complex?
Yeah. He's gonna be so offended if he hears this.
Well, if he actually does listen to this podcast, then I'd be shocked. But Katie, it's all right. This is what we call dramatic reading. Okay, makes it more interesting. Gotta have some color, even in speech. Adios, y'all. Have a great week, and we'll be back.
All right. See you next time.